Next on to a film in one of the other screens that Tom went to, as you guys managed to cover a lot of ground in one day. And the title is very much like you guys with your shared microphone right now. It's called Double Date. So, Tom, tell us about this film. It has actually been recommended to me, and a friend said that I would like this film. So, let us know what the premise of this is, and then tell us what you thought about it.
Well, you may need to slap that friend. But, okay, so, because it had very mixed reviews, I'll say that in the screening. But, so, the idea is this. It is a British-made horror comedy involving a 30-year-old virgin who is looking for love in all the wrong places. One day he's in a bar and he comes across two lovely women who, to his great surprise, actually want to go on a double date with him and his best mate. But little does he know that these two women are in fact serial killers, and they actually want to go on a date with him because they want to murder him.
Sounds a bit like Tinder, so...
Yes, yep, that is correct.
So, am I right in saying that you didn't rate this film then, Tom?
I'd say, to use a very cliche football analysis, which as anyone who knows me knows I love my football, it would be a game of two halves. The first half was actually surprisingly funny. I'll admit I came into the film having seen the trailer and thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be painful. It's a first-time director, Benjamin Barfor, and a first-time writer as well, who's also the star of the film, Danny Morgan. So with that combination of like first-time writer, first-time director, and having seen the trailer, which basically gives away 95% of the film, I thought, this is not going to be very good. But to my surprise, the first sort of 45-50 minutes were actually very funny. There's kind of scenes where, you know, they get their drinks spiked with ecstasy, and then they're kind of trying to be normal while completely off their face and stuff like that, and that's very funny.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. But... and I'm sure this is the same for many of the films at FrightFest, and just actually, to be honest, a lot of horror films in general. Once you've kind of got that stuff out the way, it did start to sag during the middle part. There was an extended cameo with Dexter Fletcher of Press Gang and other fame, which seemed completely needless. He was just in kind of a scene for basically no reason, which was actually explained by the very drunk director and the very drunk star afterwards in the Q&A, that he was only in it because they knew someone who knew him, and in their own words gave him shitloads of money and said, would you just turn up for one day and shoot some scenes? So
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it's very well acted, the whole film, like really well acted. And the soundtrack is awesome, like a great soundtrack.
What kind of soundtrack are we talking?
It's very modern. Like, there's a lot of indie stuff. There's quite a lot of kind of EDM, sort of electro music. There's a bit of rap in there as well. It's very modern. It's a great soundtrack. It all goes really well with kind of what's going on in the scene. But it does tend to, drag on. And then leads to, and again, this is not spoiling anything because it's all given away in the trailer. Ultimately, the guys do go back to the girl's house, and you know, they think they're going to get lucky, but in fact, you know, the girls reveal their true intentions, and a big fight breaks out. And now this led to kind of, for me, was maybe the most uncomfortable scene of anything I watched at FrightFest this year, in that it was a full-on fight between a man and a woman. Now, I mean, you know, the men and women fighting in horror films is nothing new, but this was a fist fight. This was two grown adults just punching each other in a very sort of violent, gritty manner. And the audience were laughing. It was played for laughs. But I did find it quite uncomfortable that you had this fully grown man just punching the shit out of this woman. And I just don't know. I thought, what this... I just find this a bit uncomfortable, really.
You can swear on this show. It's a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's allowed. It's a beautiful thing. And Tom's only just experiencing that after having done Saturday afternoon shows on a radio station for a while. Well, I mean, interesting review of that film. It does sound like your view was slightly tainted by the fact that director and actor must have gotten a little nervous and had maybe a few too many tipples before speaking about the film.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to give this a watch, not going to lie. I find the concept that it's kind of this whole turning 30 crisis and proving his manhood thing quite interesting. That's a nice touch. And I mean, I'm going to watch it. It does sound like the ending isn't terribly amazing and is kind of uncomfortable, but not for the right reasons that we would like in horror.
It is actually getting a UK cinema release in October. So for anyone listening or for you, Ria, you can get down to the cinema in October and watch it on the big screen.
Excellent. I will do that. I should imagine this is not Greg's kind of thing. Greg, are you sold on that description?
I'm sold to not see it.
Just as I suspected.